Bonjour, Judo Canada. Hi, Judo Canada. Hope everybody's fine and enjoying the summer that is coming soon. J'espère que tout le monde profite de l'été qui arrive bientôt. As you can see, comme vous pouvez le voir, I'm not in the regular room. I had to move. I'm in my son's room. Je suis rendu dans la chambre de mon fils, qui est un fanatique de Star Wars. He loves Star Wars. So please, and it's a little bit colder here and fresh because at the third level it's a little bit warm. Il fait un peu plus chaud au troisième étage. So before we start, let's present our guests. Avant de commencer, je vais présenter nos invités. Since the 1990s, that's far away from here, in 1990s, Andrzej Sadej has been one of the iconic faces of Canadian Judo. Dedication has allowed the advancement of judo in the country on several levels. He was national coach from 1990 to 1996. He made us suffer. Sport director, CEO from 1996 to up to today, or maybe if I'm not right, he will correct me. In 2014, Andrzej started his return on the tatami for the Paralympic program, national coach for visually impaired. And of course, he became the coach of our second guest that will be with us. Alors, il est devenu l'entraîneur de notre deuxième invité qui est avec nous, Priscilla Gagné. Priscilla, everybody knows Priscilla, minus 52 kilo, Paralympians, fifth at Rio at the Paralympic Games in 2016. She's the first world medalist of Canadian history at the World Championship IPSA 2018. If my memory is good, it was in Portugal. So let's introduce them into the show. Let's start with the ladies. Ladies first, of course. Hello, Priscilla. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's a great pleasure. And now let's get the one and only Captain Intensity, Mr. Andrzej Sadej. Hello, Andrzej. How are you?
Hello, everyone. Bonjour à tous. Merci pour votre invitation.
Well, it is a great pleasure. It's an honor. It's an honor to have you two with us because, of course, you two are linked very closely for the training and everything. So I know that, Andrzej, you still work for Judo Canada as well, and you've been very busy lately with COVID-19 situation, working very closely with Tiffany Hunting and Nicolas Brisson on judo guidelines. But today we will discover, and of course we'll do everything in English this time because we want to make sure everybody, Andrzej, you understands properly every single questions, even though your French is good. Je sais que ton français est bon, n'est-ce pas, Andrzej?
Pas vrai.
So, we want more of you. So we'll start with the lady, Priscilla. You started judo when, where, and why?
So I started judo in 2009, I believe it was, in Sarnia, Ontario, the town where I was raised, at the local YMCA under Sensei Bob Singh. And the reason I started very late. I was 23 years old, but I started because I was doing karate and I was working on my orange belt, but I was not being allowed to compete or even spar in the club, and because of safety reasons. So I thought, well, that's kind of boring. So I switched to judo, where I could actually, compete and you can't take the competitor out of a person.
Of course. Only. Priscilla, are you still there?
Sorry. Yeah, it cut out. Can you repeat it?
Oh, I said, well, we lost Andrzej, by the way, so I hope he'll be back. So it's only you and me right now. But I said, did you ever went back to karate, or you stick to judo only?
Oh no, I stick to judo only. You know, for fun. I still remember the block sets. I still remember some of the self-defense moves and the demonstration that we did. So it's really fun to be silly. But I've never entered a karate club. I've never gone back to it at all. I don't even have my karate gi anymore.
Oh. Well, we're very happy to hear that now judo is your passion. And you know what? We have Andrzej. He's back, and we will reinsert him into the room. And let's see. Welcome back, Andrzej. Where were you? Did you went away? You hide yourself?
I have no idea. The connection is choppy, and it's not traditional. Usually, I don't have any problems with internet connection, but for whatever reason today, it's not working as well as it should. If I lose you, I lost you without any warning. I had to reconnect.
I know. I know, but you know what, Andrzej? It's okay. It's okay. It's always the same. It's always working when you don't need it, and it's not working when you need it. So it's always the same. It's like, I don't know, there's probably a theory or statistics on this, and don't worry. So Andrzej, it was your turn to answer, because we were just finished with Priscilla. You started judo not here in Canada.
And I have very, very choppy information, sound from you, Patrick, so I'll just respond to what I started judo. I was 12 years old in Poland, and I continued until I left Poland and immigrated to Canada. So it's been over 50 years now, my journey in judo.
Wow. Never stopped since then?
No, it was no. It's a consistent love affair, love and sometimes hate, as it is in any relationship. But yeah, mostly love.
Wow, I will remember this for the rest of my life. A consistent love affair. That is probably the best, resume of a career that I've heard from someone. Well, we'll try to have a little bit more discovery of both of you on the sides that we don't know. So Priscilla first, and then Andrzej. Priscilla, what is your favorite meal and favorite music type?
Favorite meal is fettuccine alfredo. My favorite music is contemporary, but I love Céline Dion. She's if you're listening, Céline, I love you.
And I can tell that you play piano as well.
I'm learning, yeah. And the first song I learned is the Recovering Song by the one and only Céline Dion.
Oh, we'll make sure she listens to the chat with Pat. So how about you, Andrzej?
My favorite food, not meal, but food, is broccoli.
Broccoli?
And my favorite, actually, I love music, all kinds of music. I'm connected by obligation to classical music over the past several years, and that's what I actually focus on.
Well, classical music, because your daughter is what we call a very famous singer, and we call her a diva, right?
Yeah, she is a diva on every level.
That was not the question. Well, we were supposed to have her presence for the Pan Am for the opening ceremony, and we hope that for the for the event that has been postponed probably around November, we will have her presence, and she will be able to do the opening ceremony as well. Is there a place in Canada? Well, Priscilla, I'm sure there's one or two places you haven't visited, and where would you like to go that you haven't been yet? And Andrzej, don't tell me you haven't visited all Canada with all the events, So, Priscilla.
I have not visited very much at all in Canada. I've done way more international travel than I have within Canada. Places I would love to see is the Edmonton Mall with the pool and the roller coaster. And I'd love to go to Victoria. I've never been to Victoria either, so those are places is it?
How about you, Andrzej?
Indeed, I've seen a lot of Canada. I would love to see the western coast of northern part of Newfoundland. It is something obviously very spectacular, and not much is happening there in that region in terms of judo, so there was never a chance to do it. And
well, maybe one day, never know. And for Priscilla, you know what? We will have to manage a visit to the Edmonton International event with Mark Hicks, so she can be a guest, and then you can visit the West Edmonton Mall.
I would love that. I would not turn it down.
All right, so Andrzej, you know what to do. If you finish the sentence, you know, and for you, Andrzej, I think it will be difficult since you have a love affair. If I wasn't doing judo, I would be Priscilla.
Out of my mind. You know, I don't even think about life, what it would have been, because I think that this journey has been such a gift and timely. And, you know, I was working full time before and I traded it all. And I am so much more fulfilled and I feel more driven and with more passion that I don't even want to imagine a life without judo.
Well, love affair for you too, I think. How about you, Andrzej?
Honestly, I don't really want to even think about this responses. It's been too late in life, you know, 50 years of judo. I'm just over 60, so my conscious life practically is all around judo. My family my parents, when I got involved in that sport, were not really supportive. My family was all involved in law, and my brother, parents, etc. I was the only one who has chosen a completely different pathway. So I probably would not be in Canada, first of all, and my life would be I would be a very different person. It's the bottom line is no clue what I would be doing in life.
Well, we're happy you chose judo. And speaking of your brother, I hope he has been able to get the link I sent you so he's able to watch this. But if he can't watch it live, then right away after I will send you the link so you can send to your family so they can watch everything. I don't know if I'm able to ask that question since after the answer you just gave me. What is your favorite way to spend the day off on this particular time?
Me?
Yes, Priscilla. Always you first. Always Priscilla first.
You know, I get very busy. I'm learning piano. I'm writing, even like different things, but even working on writing songs, things that are really out of my norm. And I'm loving it. I'm volunteering with my church to make phone calls throughout the church members and community to see if there's people that have any needs that can't get out to the grocery store or are feeling extra lonely and just need to chat. So I really fill my days up, and of course training here at home, and just enjoying time with my dog, really.
Dog and cats with an S.
Yes.
How about you, Andrzej?
In this time of the year, it's a beautiful, you know, summer is almost with us. I love gardening. I have a nice backyard that I play with and around. And when I have a few minutes, I play some guitar and read. That's pretty much it. Trying to hide away from my diva daughter.
But lately, you had some visitor in your garden or on your back of your garden. You sent me some pictures of nice deers.
That's correct. For the first time, I live here. 16 years we are in this neighborhood, and now because of the COVID, animals are getting more, you know, they're brave. They're just walking around like this is their neighborhood. The, the deer, the deers we don't mind, but there are coyotes also, and they are quite aggressive, and they are going to go after some people. So.
Well, that means nature takes his. It doesn't take long for nature to take his place back.
That's correct.
Interesting. Besides judo, are there any other sport you enjoy to follow or to practice or to compete? And based on the previous answers, I think I have my answers, but I'm asking the questions anyway. So Priscilla, is there another sport?
Well, I'm just full of surprises. So I like running. I've always been passionate about running. I love long distance running. I also really love. I haven't done this since I started on the national team with judo, but I really love goalball, which is another sport for the visually impaired. It's a lot of fun to play. If you're not familiar with it, it's a little boring to watch, but you can go look it up on YouTube. Once you get familiar with it, it's a lot more exciting to watch. But it's I love that sport as well.
Well, goalball, isn't it like a huge ball and there's like a bell in it?
So it's not that big. It's the size of a basketball. Sorry, that's the mailman. It's the size of a basketball, and it got little metal. The dog might bark. It's got little metal kind of bells inside or pieces, and you throw it how you would throw a bowling ball. The court is about 9 meters wide and I think 11 meters long or something like that. It's the same size of a volleyball court. So you have to block the ball. There's 3 people that are protecting the net, the 9-meter wide net, and you're blindfolded, so everyone's blind. And that's the whole idea. And you can't throw the ball too far before it hits the ground, or you get penalized. You can't throw the ball more than twice in a row. So there's a lot of rules, and it's a lot of fun. It's exciting. I miss playing, actually, and because of my injuries, there's no way I could throw myself onto a floor at this point. But I really do love playing that sport.
So I guess you'll have to teach us, and we'll have to try this game at the INS when we get back all together.
I would love that. I have a goal ball, and a blindfold or two. So I would love that.
I'll remember that. Trust me. So Andrzej, how about you?
I, practiced judo practically as a professional from the age of 12, because that was the reality of the sport behind the Iron Curtain in the Eastern Bloc. But I also played a huge number of different sports, mostly at the school level and then later at the university on the variety of different teams, from soccer through volleyball, through basketball, mostly team sports. But I also practiced, before I started judo, I actually practiced gymnastics for over a year, and then
gymnastics.
Yep.
I know.
Wow.
Too.
That's the whole point of the chat with Pat. We need to discover and find some new things. So, Priscilla, next time he comes to INS, we might have to ask him if he remembers some tricks of gymnastics.
Well, the gymnastics floor is just one above the judo floor, so we can make a little.
Yes, it would be.
Well,
Andrzej,
I was around 35 kilograms when I did that. It's a little bit heavier.
A long time ago, huh?
It's okay. It's like bicycle.
You know that I've promote acrobatic exercises in judoka and fundamental movement skills development for judoka, which was not very commonly used when I arrived to Canada 30 years ago. It is pretty well adopted right now in majority of the programs across Canada, but those very basic gymnastics movements are fundamental movement skills that develop body awareness and variety of different skills that we need in judo. So there is a very good connection between those sports.
Great. We'll go into more some judo question oriented, and what is your personal most memorable judo match, Priscilla?
It's so hard to pick one because there are a few that are just as real today as they were when I had them. Probably one of the first would have been when I beat my rival at the time, who's now retired, a Brazilian girl. And it was kind of like she would always beat me, and then she would win by less and less points. And then eventually we like she won by Shido, and then I won by Shido, and then it went the other direction. I started winning a little bit more each time with a little bit more points, and so it was until I finally won with Epon, and so that was extremely memorable. And then of course there's the Uzbeki who beat me in Rio, and so the first time I beat her was very rewarding. But I think the last time was a little bit more. It stuck with me a little bit more because it was in Tashkent, and it gave me the fight for the silver, for the gold. It brought me to the final. So I it.
Sweet. It's sweet. I'm not going to say sweet revenge, but sweet, accomplishment, patience, and it paid off.
It's more about progression. Like, I don't want to say because I think it's just more progression. It's more learning. It's adapting. It's being teachable and coachable, and all these things, and being aware of yourself and how you might react, and nervousness may come in. So it's a lot of just progression, really.
Progression, true. Yep. Andrzej, what about you?
Well, I must say that I'm so far removed from my competitive career. For me, the most memorable moments of the matches that I remember, I'm talking about Pris right now, because it's important that our listeners understand what she really is accomplishing in her life. She's a B1 athlete, and she competes against top-level athletes who are visually impaired, but they have significant level of vision. She is the only really blind athlete competing against in a field of slightly visually impaired individuals, and she is able to beat them. And those are not easy to beat. So the match for bronze medal at the World Championships, when she beat the Uzbekistani with throwing her for beautiful ippon, which they called off because they said it was after mate. And then right after that, Priscilla threw her again with a different technique for Wazari, and that stood for until the end of the match. That was the memorable moment for me as a coach. For my own career, I had well over 1,000 competitive matches in my life. So it's a lot of very good and very bad memories, obviously, like any competitor that accomplished something, but always dreamt about accomplishing more. Match when relatively early in my international senior career was at the University World Championship semi-final against Fabien Canu, who was a world champion twice. That, and I in that match I knew that I'm going to lose it by decision. It was a very close match, and I remember that vividly, that I said to myself, I cannot lose this match. This was at the moment when I met my wife, and as I told you, Judo in Poland was a professional sport. I was negotiating a contract with different club, transfer to different city, different life, for a variety of reasons, but mostly because I had inherited 2 kids with my wife, and I wanted to give them the best life possible, and Judo was an option to do that. And I fought Canu, and I said to myself, I can't lose that match, and it was last second, I threw him for ippon. And I do not know what I did, what the throw was. I still don't. And if you know me, you know I'm a very rational person. But if there was a moment in life that I was susceptible to believe in irrational, then that was that moment. Something more powerful than me interjected in that moment of my life, and it helped me. I moved to the different city. I've got the contract I wanted. And it started my pathway on a really professional, high-performance sport with the senior team of Poland. That was my first major international competition, successful.
Well, it was a turn moment in your life. So it's very important.
Yeah.
Thank you. Priscilla, do you have a favorite judoka on the international circuit?
I have a lot of friends from all over the world and different nations, and we keep in touch through Messenger and different ways. But if I'm gonna give dues to somebody, I would have to use my teammate Justin Karn. I know that's probably not the you're expecting, but Justin is the one that originally introduced me to the sport when I was 15 years old, and he tried to recruit me from wrestling, and I didn't listen to him. And it wasn't until I was 23 that I remembered that conversation, and I thought, you know what, maybe I can try. So I owe a lot to that date and time to Justin Karn.
Well, and at the same time, we say hello to Justin. We hope he's with us right now. How about you, Andrzej?
It may sound quirky, but there are a few athletes. As you know, I grew up together with Janusz Pawłowski, multiple world and Olympic medalist, who is now coaching. We spent many months together in the same room when we were teenagers and young men. After that, I had the privilege of being an older colleague to Waldemar Legień, twice Olympic champion, who actually was my rival in my weight division, and he replaced me on the national team of Poland. And right after he replaced me, he won Olympic Games gold medal. So those two athletes are definitely parts of my life. It's parts of my upbringing, understanding of what judo is, what it means to be a champion, because obviously those two Polish judoka were very good examples of what it takes. They demonstrated that on daily basis in their behavior and in their attitude and everything else, that what they did to be this successful. But the athlete that I really admire is Nicola Gill. I worked with him.
No, don't tell me this. Come on.
Let me explain why. He had the same kind of attitude as those two previous people I mentioned, Janusz and Waldek Legień. He had the same kind of attitude. He did not have the same kind of support we had in Poland. He was not a professional athlete in Canada, and he was driven by love only, by love to the sport. And that is the most important factor, in my opinion, in athletes to be able to accomplish what needs to happen when you want to be a world-class performer. And that is the able-bodied side. My experience the past 5 years with the Paralympic program, that's actually humbling experience for me, because working with athletes who really have something to be upset about in life, and having the kind of attitude you can see in Priscilla is very rewarding experience to have. And so that's pretty much what I want to say. Working with Justin, the perseverance this gentleman demonstrates on the mat for the past 20 years, and desire to be better. It's a humbling experience. Working with Priscilla, who has this kind of attitude, uplifting and extremely positive all the time, when she could be really bitter, sometimes should be bitter. It's a humbling experience for him.
Well, speaking of one of your partner at the time, Janusz Pawłowski, I actually saw him this Tuesday, and he was very, very happy to come outside of his apartment and to see everybody, because he's alone here in Canada. All his family is in Poland, family, wife, everybody. So he was like coming out and saying like, yes, yes, now I see people I know, and I'm telling you, he was very happy. And he said his best friend now, you know where they are? At the Super C, at the store. He's a good friend of all the people at the Super C. So, well, I'm sure that they have good words for you as well, Andrzej, of course. Priscilla, question is just for you.
Okay.
One best quality of a good coach.
Listening, not just listening, but hearing and communication.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's two words different, eh? Listening is one, and hearing is another one.
Yeah.
Very clear. Andrzej, one best quality of a good athlete.
I pretty much said that. It's not an easy answer, Patrick, because
No, it's true.
Judo is. We have the moral code of Judo, and it has those beautiful slogans there. But they are not empty slogans. Really. When you look at judoka at the highest level, there is very, very rare example of somebody who is arrogant and demonstrates arrogance on the mat towards his opponents, which is so common in many other sports. So the humbleness, the humility, the perseverance, the modesty, those are the things that are required in a great athlete and great judoka in particular. But the overreaching one that I really believe it's absolutely necessary is the love of the sport. And the love of the sport that comes together with persistence, because it's easy to love judo or any other activity when we are teenagers. That's the nature of young people. They fall in love in pretty much anything they do. But to maintain that kind of passion and involvement, emotional involvement, intellectual involvement into early adulthood and late adulthood sometimes, that's something that is rare, and that's what is sometimes missing. When people lose passion and they do something because they are good at that, but they don't really like it, that becomes very difficult to maintain the level of performance, the level of work and behavior, ethical behavior as required. So
we go back to the first answer you gave me. It has to be a love affair. It really needs to be a love affair.
Yeah.
Priscilla.
Yes.
Situation actually is not so easy, and we know that training will be soon back to, we hope, normal, and of course you'll be back on the mat soon, and tournaments will start again, as the IGF has declared that they think and they hope that the world tour is starting in September, which will be probably the same for on IPSA side. What is your next goal? Where do you see yourself in, I'm not going to say 5 years, but like in 2-3 years from here? What do you have another super goal that you're looking at?
I'm very much driven by goals and dreams. So, of course, we still have 2 tournaments left before the Paralympics in Tokyo. So my goal is to do well there, and obviously medal. My dream will be to get on the top of the podium. Like I said, that's a dream. You work for it. You have goals. That's a dream. And then I would say in 2 or 3 years' time, I don't know what next year will bring. I do know one thing, that my DNA has judo in it. So will I retire? Will I stay? I don't know. I know I'm going to be a part of judo for the rest of my life, whatever that looks like. I do have other goals that could coincide with judo. I could both train full-time and do these other things at the same time, and that's doing more speaking engagements, maybe more public speaking in schools, teaching teachers and students and families. different, persevere, and different principles of life that I've lived by that have worked for me. And I haven't said this too publicly yet, so this will be the first time, and it's baby stages. But
Yay!
working on a book, I'd like just kind of the lessons I've learned in my life so far, and this journey that I've been on as a visually impaired person living in a vision-oriented world, and just kind of take those lessons and values and put them into a book to help whoever. And so that's, a little baby project of mine as well, which, again, I can do that and still train full-time for Judo. So I don't know if I will be doing, 2024, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I'll decide after Tokyo.
Great. So, oh, wow. I can't wait to read that book. I'm sure it's going to inspire a lot of people. So now on the national teams, we're looking at two people writing books. One with you, and as you probably know, Catherine Beauchemin-Pinard has started to write her book on nutrition, on food and everything.
I did not know that.
So
I will buy that.
Well, yeah, she started. So maybe we'll launch both of you books together, and we'll announce that to the community. I can't wait to read that book, actually.
Yeah.
Andrzej, for people watching, can you resume us and explain us the rules for the visually impaired judo match? And you talked about it a bit. There's as well a classification for athletes. So can you explain us a little bit how it works?
I will start with the classification. Classification is pretty well explained. Actually, you can find information on Judo Canada website for athletes with visual impairment, coaches who are interested. So there is in current classification standards for judo, we have three categories of visually impaired athletes, which are B3 category, which is legally blind. That is defined by either acuity of vision or field of vision, restriction of acuity and restriction of the field of vision. Athletes B2 with higher grade of impairment in the same two categories, acuity and field of vision. And I'm not going to go into details in numbers because
no.
will be forgotten. And then category B1, Priscilla is category B1, which is extremely restricted field of vision or on congenital lack of vision, which is quite common also in visually impaired world. So Priscilla is the first kind. She lost her vision gradually, started at the age of 2, and now she is B1. Tony Walby, those of you who remember Tony Walby, who was a member of the national team, able-bodied athlete, and then he learned very late in his life, in his late 20s, that he has a genetic disorder that is going to render him blind. And he, within 5 years, moved from category B3, legally blind, to totally blind B1, which is right now. Tony Walby, by the way, Paralympian twice for Canada, in London and in Rio. Now is the chair of the Athletes Commission at the Canadian Paralympic Committee. So we are well represented there. And
we salute him.
Yeah, it brings great recognition for the sport of judo at the Paralympic level in Canada. Rules of competition are such at this point of time that all of the categories unfortunately compete against each other. I say unfortunately deliberately because judo is the only Paralympic sport where athletes with visual impairment compete directly against athletes who are blind. So it's obvious that those who have some level of vision have a significant advantage over the athletes who see nothing. Yet the rule that everybody competes together. The blind world, the Paralympic Games started in 1988, and at that point of time, 60% of the athletes competing, males only at that point of time, 60% of them were B1 category. So the majority of the competitors were blind. In today's reality, the percentage of blind athletes involved at the highest level of international competition is below 10%. And the reason is that simply those athletes lose to competitors within their own countries, and they are not going to go abroad and represent their countries if they have somebody better in their country to go and compete internationally. So the current discussion happening at the Paralympic level, both at the Canadian International Paralympic Committee and International Blind Sport Association, is to divide the world of judo into people who are in two categories only: those who don't see, like Priscilla would be, and those who have certain level of vision. That would be a separate competition. And in all fairness to those athletes who at one point of time were majority and now they're almost disappearing from the field, those blind people, it is absolutely required move, but it is not going to happen before Tokyo, definitely. And hopefully it will happen before Paris.
Thank you, Andrzej.
And the rules are, again, very, very similar to able-bodied rules, with one exception, which is to the uninitiated person in judo, very difficult to differentiate, because people who do not practice judo don't understand how important it is, the tactics of grip, which in the able-bodied sport decides practice. It makes 90% of success of athletes comes from the capacity to impose their own tactical advantage through gripping. In visually impaired world, that part, at least in theory, is eliminated, because athletes start the match with the grip on.
With the grip on.
Yes, the grip is standardized in at least in theory. It should be always applied in exactly the same honest fashion. You remember our discussion about honesty, how difficult it is to demonstrate it in a picture. And I suggested you've chosen a picture of Priscilla with a Turkish girl, and you can see both of those girls are B1 actually. And they stand against each other with smiles on their faces, and the grip is perfectly applied in exactly that fashion as it should be. When you look at certain athletes from different countries, and in particular those who are coming from very strong systems, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Korea, etc., they try to cheat right away with the gripping. So there are regulations what they should do, and there are nuances that should not be done, but those athletes are going to try to use it to their advantage even before the hajime starts. So it's it's a reality of combat.
Great. Yeah, true. Well, it makes it's a follow-up of all this explanation, and I'm very happy you explained that part of the grip, because my next question is for Priscilla. Based on everything Andrzej said, and based on this particular part of the gripping, which is supposed to be this standards and everything, is there a non-written as well, a non-written etiquette during a fight that they're supposed to be between two fighters?
For two visually impaired people fighting each other, I don't think so. I mean, it's respect, it's integrity. For example, it's very different, the camaraderie that we have between one another, who are opponents, enemies. Actually, we're off the mat, and we love each other.
Yeah.
And we get along, and it's fantastic. And I remember one of the coaches that came along with us on a trip one time from the able-bodied world, one of her first comments was, "I can't get over the camaraderie that you guys have between each other. We don't see that in the able-bodied world." And I can actually remember being thrown by one of the German twins, Ramona. And it was probably it was in Hungary, actually, and it was Andrzej's first trip with us, and she was so prone to throwing me with Uchimata. And so I knew to look out for it. And I remember, I never lasted a whole fight with her. And I remember her throwing me. I remember getting in the wrong position, and I remember the moment I went, "Oh, crap." And she just threw me so hard, and I landed on my head, and it was a big épin, an epic épin. And I just laughed out loud. And I was like, what happened? And because it was such a good throw. And she was nice about it. I think she even helped me up. So we mean business when we're fighting. We're not nice, we mean business. but we're sweet to each other on another level, you know. And I think that's character, really. Not everyone's like that, but I would say the majority have really good hearts, really good character and empathy. And I don't know if that answers your question, but there you go.
Well, actually, it does. You know, because it's an unwritten etiquette, you know, to have this camaraderie and to follow. It just takes a few people to scrap this, like I would say. So it's good to hear, and I think that, you know, I'm not going to call it that, you know, that at the level with the people that fighting actually at the IGF tour, and you know, they should probably learn a little bit from you guys and have some more camaraderie during some fights, and some we know generally they are, but there's a little bit more of fighting and you know, rivalry. How do you say this word?
Yeah.
Rivalry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Which we do have. We're still nice to each other. Like, even people in my own weight class, we get along great.
That's nice. Priscilla, what is your biggest challenge during a fight, and how does Andrzej help in this matter? And if he does help?
He does, actually. My biggest challenges in a fight are mainly visual. So not being able to see the scoreboard or the timer, or the Shidos, like who's getting the Shidos, because sometimes they mess up, you know. They'll say Shido, Shiro, and then it's you know. So Andrzej's helpful in telling me, you know, who really got the Shido. And then also for me, planning is everything. Strategy is everything. I don't like going in without a plan, and so he helps me in between fights to stay focused on just the one fight, and that's a challenge too. So once I can accomplish that and just stay focused on the next one up, and stay in that zone, and Andrzej's there constantly reminding me, you know, stay focused, you know, keep moving. That helps huge, because honestly, the fight is really, it's the pre-fight that matters. Once you're in the fight, you've got what you've got, and you don't have what you don't have. You're not just, you know, so it's preparation. It's those moments before the fight. So in the actual fight, it's visual. It's the clock. It's the Shidos. And then him telling me, because he can see things I'm not noticing. And so that is huge for me, but really it's everything leading up to that point.
So he's not only listening to your needs, he hears what you need.
Absolutely. He hears what I need and he delivers, you know, and sometimes it's things that I don't even know that I need, that he knows I need. So it works both ways. You know, he believes in me sometimes when I don't even believe in myself as much. He's very, he notices things that I don't notice. And so I too have to hear what he's saying. You know, it works two ways. And trust him, and having that trust is everything. And I fully trust him. He's proven himself over and over and over again, and I think that speaks for itself. You know,
Andrzej, I think we will have to call you Yoda. Speaking of Star Wars in the beginning, you know, all that wisdom.
Yeah.
My.
All I need is a green color and some nice ears on the top. I'll have to ask for help.
We can fix this for Halloween. Trust me. I'll get this ready. Andrzej, is there a program or a way clubs or coaches can refer and inform Judo Canada, about their blind athletes? You know, like if they have someone, if they want are you always on the recruit mode and, you know, looking for next generation? How's it work?
Yes, as you know, this is a very restricted field of athletes. Very few athletes in Canada are actually participating in the Paralympic stream. We know of children who are involved in judo programs across Canada who are blind or visually impaired. There is a lot of visually impaired individuals who think that they would qualify for Paralympic programs. We ran through that scenario several times over the past 2-3 years, and they actually do not meet the minimum classification standards. Even athletes who at one point of time were classified as blind and competed in different Paralympic sports. Now, with regulations increased, the standards levels have been changed slightly. We lost some athletes from the program, so it's a challenge to recruit more athletes and keep athletes involved in the program. We have Justin Wack, who is quite well developed already judoka with brown belt, who practiced judo from his early stages, and he is congenitally blind. He practiced judo in Edmonton, and now he got involved in the music world, and he is producing his own music, and he has pretty much stepped away from judo for now, at least. Let's see how the COVID is going to impact that, because now, based on my experience with my daughter, I see that musicians are in a much worse situation than even us, people in sport. There is
unknown caller.
Everyone who is.
This is Andrzej's phone. Andrzej, we know that ringing.
The information for coaches who are interested in whether their athletes could qualify for visually impaired Paralympic program, then the information is available on Judo Canada website. We are in always searching mode. We started programs in Montreal at the School for Visually Impaired Children. Priscilla and Justin and a few other people volunteered to deliver those lessons for 2 years. It's a very challenging task to work with visually impaired kids who are only in their own environment. Much easier situation when a visually impaired individual or blind individual is involved in fully integrated judo program with a partner that can help, with a coach who understands. There is a lot of materials that are available to coaches who are interested in helping visually impaired athletes. But the bottom line is visually impaired, blind athlete, able-bodied athletes, they're all athletes, and there is not so much a difference. There's not so much of a difference between how the coach should approach those athletes, regardless of their vision impairment or non-vision impairment. It's an individual. The needs of individuals are different from each other. They learn in different ways, and their needs are different. So very special needs individuals, who are usually the blind athlete, they will require one-on-one intervention from either a coach or very experienced partner, or frequent change of partners who are well aware of the needs of the individual, etc., etc. So there are a number of strategies that can be employed by coaches and instructors in clubs to help an individual to come and shows the special needs for in learning process.
But if they have any question, or if they have whatever, they can write you directly at your address is on the website at Judo Canada, and they can ask you any question, and they can inform you of what they're doing.
Absolutely. And I would like to add that Canada is actually the only country in the world, as far as I know, that allows visually impaired and blind individuals to compete in able-bodied judo. And if such individuals enter into competition, the visually impaired rules apply automatically. So automatically, yes. Our referees are pretty well aware of that and trained. We have quite a number of referees in Canada who are familiar with the regulations for visually impaired judo, and again, they are not that different. That's very difficult to learn. It's for any experienced judoka, it's relatively easy to transfer from able-bodied to visually impaired judo regulations. So it's we are very inclusive and progressive on that front. Again, International Judo Federation recommendation is never to allow visually impaired athletes to compete against able-bodied. They quote the safety rules as a reason, but really, when you look at that from perspective of what is happening in judo match, either able-bodied or visually impaired athletes, there are very few safety concerns that I can see.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, I can confirm. I remember back the days at the tournament at the Rendezvous Canada. Yes. I got selected to do a little demonstration with our friend Justin corn in front of a big crowd. And I was not the favorite of the crowd. I remember that. Justin was. They were all picking on me. Oh my, that was fun. It was great. And I think we should do it again. And this year, remember, we did the Elite National and we combined at the same time with the Pan Am selection in Montreal. So it was not at the same tournament, but we mixed up all the athletes together. And it was a tournament where everybody was all together.
Well, if I can add to it, Patrick, because this is important aspect of what we are doing in Canada for the Visual Olympic Sport, because we are very well recognized by the International Blind Sport Association as the leaders on this front. We delivered twice Pan American Championships for IPSA Judo, for the Paralympic Judo, and twice in fully integrated format with our national championships in Calgary 2018 and again in Montreal in this year. And Judo Canada was recognized officially during opening ceremonies of Pan American Games in Peru last summer, as well as the World Championships and any other event that we go to. The IPSA officials, the top officials, the sport director always demonstrates appreciation towards Judo Canada for what we do and demonstrating the fully integrated format to the world. So,
and if I remember, we asked again to get to organize another event joint. So for the future, it's not going to stop.
Well, we were asked actually again by International Blind Sport Association because they like what we do. We do it professionally and deliver on what needs to happen. And with the COVID situation, when a number of events started to get cancelled and the future of the Paralympic tournament became in question, we offered that if there is any kind of extension of qualification period, etc., and if necessary, Canada is willing to organize Pan American Championships for the Paralympic Judo again in the same format we did in Montreal 2020.
We did.
Yeah.
Great.
So it's possible, but we'll have it in January 21 again.
Super. Priscilla, why would blind athlete choose or visually impaired choose judo? Oh, we lost Priscilla. Oh, Andrzej. She was there and we just lost her.
Should I
think maybe you can, maybe you can call her and tell her that she's no longer with us. I'll be waiting here with you.
I sent her SMS. She usually reads that very quickly. In particular, her phone tells her you got something.
Yes, I hope, because she's using actually her phone at the same time for this interview. So
I call her.
Okay. But we'll stay here. So everybody, see, technology, and now we just have to make sure we try to get Priscilla back on the show. During you do this, Andrzej, I'll do my pat on the back segment, so you can talk.
Hi, you've reached Priscilla. Please leave a message.
Unfortunately.
Message. Well, we'll see. Let's wait. Let's hope that she tries to get connected again. So, like I was saying, I always have a segment now. It's a pat on the back for a moment or some people. So my pat on the back segment today will be, or this week, will be for the team that was taking care of all the athletes during the COVID-19. They were working closely to them. So there's Nicolas Thébault, for preparation, physical preparation from ENS Institute. Then there was Catherine Nolot for nutritionist, Jean-François Ménard as a psychologist. So I think all these people that were taking care of all the athletes during the difficult time that we had, we're going to give them a pat on the back, and thank you so much for all the help that you've been doing. So, Andrzej, do you think, I hope, like the thing is that, how can we get connected with Priscilla, and how can we get her back in?
Well,
Try to text her a little bit.
I texted.
Did you text?
I did send a text as well, yes.
Okay. Okay.
You
So
know, when you lost me, I could still see you and hear you. The only thing that disappeared was my picture on the bottom. So she may not be even, she might hear us very well, but she may not be aware that she is off.
okay. Well, if she hears us,
Oh, it's
Priscilla, you're disconnected. You have to get it back in, please. Come back with us into the chat with Pat. Try to reconnect yourself with us, please, Priscilla.
her phone just died. She just sent me back SMS. She is just plugging in and she will reconnect with us.
All right, super. Well, while she's getting back on the show, Andrzej, I will ask you a question because you can still answer questions. When teaching judo to a visually impaired judoka, what are some teaching techniques that you use? And are there certain things that coaches needs to emphasize more in order to learn the judo technique?
I think that I responded to that quite extensively already once when I said that those athletes are no different than anyone else. Visually impaired blind athletes are going to learn the one part that is removed from their ability from the blind athlete is the visual learner part. So they are not going to be able to learn by watching. And even those who are slightly visually impaired, obviously, there is no distinction. There are athletes who are B3 or even B2 who.
It's always like that, we get someone inside. Yeah. Okay, go on, Andrew.
B3 and B2 athletes who are going to train in the regular integrated environment, and if you do not know that they are visually impaired, you will never learn that they are. So it's no distinction, pretty much. When it comes to those who are blind, or in particular congenitally blind, meaning were born without vision, they don't have a depth perception. They don't have understanding of space the same way we do, and learning for them is a very different process. They also have very often limitations in terms how they move because of the safety concern that are natural to a human behavior. They are moving slightly differently. They don't extend their legs the same way we do. So their mobility and their hips and their knees and their the ankles is very often reduced. So coaches must take it into consideration. They learn kinesthetically by touch and feeling, and unless they have a very good partner and coach who can feel what they do and demonstrate to them so they can feel and understand the movement, it will be very difficult to teach something. So that is
super.
That is a very generic, very generic response to the question. And again, I will reiterate. Athletes are individuals. You have to look for what they're good at, what their natural tendencies are, and capitalize on it. The visually impaired, in particular blind judoka, is not going to learn 30 techniques or 40 techniques. It will take a lifetime for them to do that. So coaches should focus on things that are relatively simple to execute and see whether those athletes are actually inclined to do it with some kind of competency. If they see that something is difficult, do not force a blind athlete to try to do, for example, foot sweeps. Foot sweeping require very high level of eye, hand, and eye-leg coordination.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have it, learning it by feeling, it's extremely difficult, frustrating, and excruciating. And then once they learn, they will be very easy to be cheated in competition, because they will expect certain movements to happen, and somebody who has slight level of vision, they will easily capitalize on that kind of behavioral threats. Priscilla, you are sideways, so.
Uh-oh.
Yes, Priscilla, you're back. But I was waiting for Andrzej to finish his explanation. So you have to twist your phone.
Is that better?
Fantastic.
Yes, you're getting there.
Good. And
Yes.
is that okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Excellent. Sorry about that. Died.
Oh, that's good. Perfect. And you know what? When we're talking and discussing, there's some people writing on the chat, and of course, I confirm you. We have Justin Kern with us, and he's been watching. And his first comment on the chat when we lost Priscilla was like, "Oh no, we lost, we lost Priscilla." So we're very happy you're back. And Judo Yukon just wrote us that the e-learning module coaching athletes with a disability in the NCCP locker, something came in at the same time, is very useful. So message passed to you, Andrzej.
Oh yeah. It's actually that link to that module is posted on Judo Canada website. So, and there is quite a few learning resources for coaches that are now featured by Judo Canada on our website. That are both connecting to links from Coaching Association of Canada in our country, but also to international resources. So there's quite a few resources available right now.
Super. Well, we're getting, we've been online for an hour and 5 minutes. So before we go on, the last team would be the advices from our guest. We will go to the trivia. Is it how you call that? The trivia?
Yeah.
And so, like I said in the beginning,
Got it, trivia.
You guys are a team. So you can consult yourself, and and someone can say the final answer is. All right. So, are you guys ready? Andrzej, are you stressed?
A little bit, but I trust Andrzej.
Okay. So, hold on. Give me that. First question. Judo has been part of the Summer Paralympics program since when for men and for women?
Andrzej, I think you know for men better, but I know women, I think it was 2004.
You are correct. And men, 88.
So is this your final answer?
Yes.
It is a good answer. Great, you guys. First one down. So for the exam, you guys at like 33% so far.
Excellent.
All right. Yeah. All right. Now it's getting crunchy, maybe. Are you ready?
Ready.
Listen properly. Eddie Morton won a bronze medal in 1988 Paralympic Games in Judo in what category?
Go for it, Andrzej.
70 kilograms if it was 70.
He's a man, so he was what division?
It was either 71 or 73. I don't remember which one, or 70. There was.
Okay, so your guess, your final answer is if 73, 71.
Give me a second. That was in 88. 70 kilograms.
70 kilograms or 71?
He's messing with your head now.
Okay, 71. You're right.
Oh, bingo, minus 71. I was like, I can't believe he doesn't remember that we used to be minus 71 kilo. Good job, Andrzej. Good job. So
I remember the time when it was under 70, before your time in Judo.
Yeah, that's like far away, so I don't remember.
That's how far away we go.
That's how long
you see the white hair here,
All right. So for the final and last answer, a question. And please listen carefully. How many medals Pierre Morton won at Summer Paralympics? I'll repeat. How many medals Pierre Morton won at Summer Paralympics?
Do you know that, Pris?
Nope.
Okay, He won 2 in judo and 1 in wrestling, at least.
Wow, wrestling too?
Yeah.
So
The final answer is
3?
Are you sure, Andrzej?
I'm not sure. He might have more won by in wrestling, but yeah, let's stick to it.
But wait, was the wrestling in the Paralympics?
Before judo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
They took it
And
out.
the
Okay.
answer is
For
4. Do you know why?
no.
Because he won in wrestling silver minus 62 kilo in 84, but he won 3 medals, minus 65 in 88, minus 71 in 92, and minus 73 in 2000.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Andrzej.
We got cut. Sorry.
Hey, but
Yeah.
Well, you guys did well. You know, it was a tricky question. I tried to put some difficulties, but small ones. So you guys did very well. Excellent.
super. Well, thanks.
Super.
It's been a lot of fun.
See, that's not hard. It's not so hard.
Not hard when your coach knows all the answers.
Andrzej, last question for you. We have one last for you, Andrzej, and then we'll end up with Priscilla. 2 questions in the same question, whatever. What would be the best exercise you would recommend to do at home at this time of COVID-19? And second, can you resume us, seasons coming up, 2020, 2021, you're in charge of coaching and certification and, sport development. What is coming up? Is there a list of things coming up for the coaches? Is there new things coming up from the coaching association? So I'm talking to the coach right now.
To maintain level of physical readiness to go back on the mat and practice judo, the athletes have to be fit, judo fit, and there is no single exercise that is going to accomplish that. I'm a very big fan of circuit training, and circuit training is in stream format or circuit is the best way to maintain the cardiovascular and circuit and muscular endurance that athletes will require when they come back on the mat. And I believe that majority of the athletes are doing that. The number of exercises that can be used for circuit or stream is infinite, and only imagination of the coach or an individual is limited to what we can do. And so there is no excuse for those who want to maintain level of physical readiness. They can do that, although nothing replaces real combat and sparring of a judo match. But that kind of rustiness will go away if we are physically ready to take the challenge on. If athletes let themselves go, then the return to sport will be very painful.
Yes.
Now, in terms of coaching programs that we are going through, actually, for the past 2 years, we are reviewing all the coaching manuals for the National Coaching Certification Program. And we were about to release a new set of manuals for assistant and instructor courses this summer. With the COVID situation, we are now looking into potential transition of parts of the materials into an online blended learning environment. Blended learning requires learning both online through courses and through homework, as well as hopefully at one point of time return on the mat and the practical exercises in direct contact with facilitators. Tomorrow we are actually attending a training organized by Coaching Association of Canada, and several of judo facilitators are registered for how to deliver online training. So tomorrow we are going to go through the first step. Once we decide that we are going to do that, we are going to pilot. I probably will do it with one of or two of our colleagues. We will pilot assistant and instructor course combined with an online environment. Hopefully we will do this during this summer, and we will see how it goes. We really try to use this opportunity of that COVID crisis to get something new and improve, and get judo better than ever after we come back to it. So that is the latest development. That's what we are doing right now. I also want to add that to those who are listening to us right now, that there is a lot of fantastic materials available now on the social media. The people are publishing Ron Angus, Ernst Larac, and variety of coaches. Nick Eckersley from Great Britain, former Olympic medalist for Great Britain, living now in Norway, produce number of materials that are very useful for coaches in the COVID situation. And we also are producing something that is going to be a new evolved and better option of the fundamental movement skills. Antoine Valois-Fortier filmed over 200 exercises that we are now preparing and putting into clusters of related exercises. We are going to make it available on Judo Canada website at the end of this month, hopefully. And again, we are hoping for healthy return to judo, which, as we all know, it's going to be challenging times that we are living through. But we are hopeful and working hard on getting it done.
Super.
Thank you.
Priscilla.
Yes.
Tournaments, preparation. Do you get nervous before matches? And if so, how do you deal with it? Do you have some tricks or some advices for the young kids, that, of course, are probably nervous as well before a tournament?
Absolutely. So, yes, I still get nervous. I think I would be highly arrogant if I didn't, which would open the door to mistakes. So I get nervous enough to stay grounded and to stay focused. And I channel that energy into, first of all, I say it out loud when I am, when we're in the shoot, for example, in Montreal in January. I actually said to Andrzej before my first fight, because it was someone I'd never fought before, so that made me nervous. And I said to Andrzej, I'm a little nervous. I don't want to look like an idiot. And he's like, you don't think like that, so he's very good advice from your coach. But the fact that I said it out loud and didn't just keep it to me, I was able to release it, get rid of it. And so that's hugely important, not to dwell on it or let it fester. And just channel it, move. So when I'm in the shoot, I'm keeping my body moving, dynamic movement in a very small confined area, mind you, but I'm moving and I'm visualizing, ironically, the fight, and I'm visualizing what's going to happen. So I'm staying in the zone all the time to not give place to nervous, because it's going to come, so it's just channeling that energy into something positive and learning how to use it to your advantage.
Great. So I hope the kids will remember this and listen, and not only the kids, the athletes. Well, you know what? After this 78 minutes of a chat with Pat, you guys are the longest chat with Pat ever. It's the longest one. And I'm sure we had, we've discovered a lot of things. And, well, you two, really appreciated having you on this chat with Pat. Thank you so much. I hope you had fun.
If I can interrupt you, and I can, use this occasion. We never mentioned the names of. You asked about recruitment. We recruited 2 fantastic female athletes, and they competed in Montreal for the first time in their life at international level, and they both delivered. Michelle from British Columbia, her coach, Kathy Hubble. Thank you very much for that. Michelle is a Pan American IPSA champion, which was a phenomenal performance for the first competition in her life. And Christina Mowat, also from BC, and Jeremy Lebris, her coach, who incorporated her training in the regional training center in Vancouver. Those are 2 newcomers, new recruits, female athletes, and we are very proud that they joined our program, and hopefully after the COVID is over, we start over and we continue.
And we have more. Recruit.
Yes.
Well, both of you, thank you so much. Priscilla, we wish you back to training with the team. I think next week you're starting again with all your friends outside and getting ready.
I hope
Andrzej,
so. Justin there
yes. Yes, Justin, and he wrote, I'm a 66 kilo. He just wrote it on the chat. I'm a 66.
I'm
So
4, just saying.
So you two, thank you so much for being with us on this chat with Pat. We wish you a great summer because, folks, this is the last chat with Pat of the 2019-2020 season. Of course, now it's we're addicted. It seems that people are addicted to it, so we will have to maintain it, and we will start in 2020-2021 season, approximately mid-August. So this is the last one. I wish you all a great summer. And before I say the last word, there is Shirley Beauregard-Crone that wrote something on the chat.
She's my mom.
It said, hey, she said, Priscilla, your mama is so proud of you. Much love.
Aww.
What can you ask more than that?
I love you too, Mama.
Hey? There we go. A live chat. This is what has helped. Yes, we send a kiss to everybody. Andrzej, very good job. I'm very proud to work with you. Captain Intensity, I still love you.
No,
Priscilla, Priscilla, train hard. Best season for 2020-2021. And like I said to everybody across Canada, now you don't have to stay home, but stay safe and stay strong.
Yes.
Okay? And we get ready for the new season coming up. Again, thank you so much to everybody. And the last word of Shirley Beauregard-Crone of this chat with Pat, Andrzej, he is the best coach ever. That's it. It's the end. All right?
I second it.
Thank you so much. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ooh, yes, yes.